Welcome back. We'll be starting the newspaper reviews with The Nation. Major headline: Constitution needs overhaul, not amendment, says Adeleke. Police to arraign 8 arrested Free Kano protesters. EFCC recovers assets worth 500 billion in 2 years. 7,000 convictions secured. 12,983 Unilorry students get 1.6 billion NEL fund loan. FIRS and RAMFAC initiates recovery of hidden funds. I won't quit PDP for APC, says Adeleke. Senate minority leader loses son and grandson. What stories do we have in The Nation?
So let me do the major headline. So Chief Wole Olanipekun SAN was at the 13th convocation lecture of the Afe Babalola University, and he used the opportunity to tell our National Assembly to halt. Say, you people should wait. Stop patching, in his words, the 1999 Constitution in the name of amendments. He says this Constitution was imposed on us by the military regime of General Abdulsalami Abubakar, and he did not get the widespread consultation before he arrived at what our ground norm will be. And so this Constitution does not reflect the differences. It was not arrived at from a resolution, and that is a constitution that tells lies against itself, in his words. So the lecture was titled Nigeria Yesterday, Today and Tomorrow, and he says that it is imperative for us to have sober reflection and look deeply into our constitution and see how a complete overhaul of the constitution will be done, asking the lawmakers to do the bigger work, as opposed to everyday amendment of 1999 Constitution, everyday amendment that the Constitution does not. It needs a new rebranding, a complete overhaul, a substitution altogether, saying that so
a new constitution,
taking us back to those who were calling for a referendum to arrive at a constitution. Now then a constitution that will reflect what each region wants, as opposed to where we are now, and we're having differences and clashes.
I absolutely agree.
Absolutely agree. Yeah. Okay, so
Okay. At the 40th convocation of the University of Ilorin, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Wahab Agbewole, while speaking, said that the university has secured 1.6 billion naira Nigerian Education Loan Fund as NEL fund for 12,983 students for the 2024-2025 academic session. He commended the government for these programs. He said that it has guaranteed that no student will drop out as a result of funding. He also hailed the policies of TED Fund, noting that the fund brought about 52.6 billion that was allocated to the university for the year 2025, and this covers 11 areas, including physical infrastructure, program upgrade, academic staff training, ICT support, entrepreneurship, career services. He says the university equally received 300 million naira for zonal interventions to execute projects. A special high-impact project was given to the university to upgrade facilities, the sum of 4 billion at the College of Health Sciences, and another 750 million for the building of hostel at the college. Seems to be getting lots of intervention funds, and I was wondering if this is like many other universities are getting these funds as well. But he's saying that because of this sort of funds, interventionist funds is how he put it. He says that they're guaranteeing that students are staying in school. They're not dropping out because of funding. Infrastructural improvements are being made in schools because of these. And so he was happy about that. And as I started, it was at the convocation ceremony. So they had quite a number of students who graduated. They had 316 first-class graduates, over 4,000 second-class upper, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Okay. So the Osun State Governor, Ademola Adeleke, said yesterday that he had no plan either now or in the future to leave the People's Democratic Party, that's the PDP, for All Progressive Congress, APC. Adeleke, the deputy chairman of the National Convention and Organizing Committee of the PDP, also said that the party would come out of its current crisis stronger and a better party. Adeleke, we spoke shortly after the inaugural meeting of the accommodation subcommittee of the convention in Abuja, said everything will be done to ensure the success of the convention. He said that we all know that PDP believes in proper organization and planning, and that they like doing things the right way. So following that, and that they also like to follow the rule of law. So yeah, they know that this is going to be a successful event, as they're following the precedents of other events that they've organized in the past. He said that by the special grace of God, PDP will continue to grow from strength to strength, that he can assure us that that they will have a meeting, that they'll reconcile as a family, that they don't need outsiders adding sugar, salt or pepper to the issue or the matter on ground, that they'll handle it themselves, and that they know how to manage their affairs as a family.
Okay, interesting.
Wish them the best.
Yeah, so President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has said his administration's anti-corruption drive has recorded a huge success in the last 2 years. He said the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, that's the EFCC, had secured over 7,000 convictions and recovered assets worth more than 500 billion in the first 2 years of his administration. He said the recovered funds were being channeled into social investment programs, such as the student loan scheme and the consumer credit scheme. He also urged the judiciary to uphold the highest standards of integrity and impartiality in the fight against corruption. He went ahead to warn that the collapse of justice institutions marks the beginning of the nation's moral decay. And he said this yesterday in Abuja at the opening of a joint workshop of the EFCC and the National Judiciary Institute, that's the NJI. The president was represented by the Vice President Kashim Shettima, and he reaffirmed his administration's commitment to strengthening judicial independence and improving the welfare of judicial officers, among other things that they spoke about. Let's move on now to the Daily Sun. Major headline: pro-anti Nnamdi Kanu protesters ground Abuja. NLC gives federal government 4 weeks to resolve varsity strike, threatens nationwide action. Crack in ADC as coalition party suspends South-South vice chairman. FRSC introduces contactless digital driver's license. Those behind Christians' genocide claim against Nigeria's unity, that's the federal government saying. Umahi accuses CCECC of poor work on Enugu PH Road. Others 14-day contract termination notice. We'll take a story and do a short break. Who's ready to go?
Okay, Minister of Works, Dr. David Umahi, has directed that CCECC be issued a 14-day notice of contract termination for poor job. That's a contractor rehabilitating the Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway. He said that this was while he was doing routine supervision of ongoing road projects within the South-South and South-East at the weekend. He said that if you get to the Port Harcourt end of the road, which had been done for about 2 years or so, the entire road has almost failed. And he said that they had been writing to CCECC to maintain this road, and they have refused to take responsibility, refused to do so. So he has to take responsibility and make a decision. He says, first, the Port Harcourt end has to be descoped and no longer going to be done by CCECC. He will direct the ministry to scout for qualified indigenous contractors to handle that part of the road. And he said that the contractor will have to start work immediately. 14 days notice of termination of contract issued to CCECC. He talked about their failure to mill the binder and replace it properly, the contract, and so they have to do that even if it's done during the dry season, they have to maintain the ones they have done and put in writing that they're going to mill out the binder at their own cost and then put the new binder that the government had paid for. And then he also talked about the Enugu-Port Harcourt dual carriage section 2, that's the Umuahia-Ta-Aba Railroad crossing in Abia State. That one he commended, and he said that the 56-kilometer inherited ongoing project was to have reached 85% completion. They said that they are one of their best so far. They've maintained the section well, so they're quite happy with that part of the project, except for the one that earlier mentioned, and he says that they have to be terminated. I don't know why we had to wait 2 years to get to the point that the road had completely failed. It was something that a decision should have been taken much earlier if the contractors were unwilling to do what was needed.
Immediately. That's implementation and paying attention to what is going on. We'll take a short break now. When we come back, the paper reviews continue. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. We're still reviewing the papers.
Okay. So the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, has disclosed that 15,000 driver's licenses are printed daily, while it has over 206,000 unclaimed licenses. Corps Marshal Shehu Mohammed stated this during the flag-off of the Ember Month's Enlightenment campaign yesterday in Abuja. He said that their printing facility, they've upgraded it so they can print, for an average of 15,000 licenses daily, but that this production average will be increased to clear the backlog before the second week of November 2025. He also announced that the Corps would commence contactless biometric capturing with spot-on printing the licenses to eliminate temporary licenses. So we all know that when you go to get the licenses, they first give you the temporary license for like 3 months, and then before you go back, before the permanent one is ready. So he said that they are going to start the contactless biometric, so that there and then you get your license,
your permanent one.
Okay. So he now also said that they are planning their conference for road crash victims for Africa, which would hold between November the 16th and 18th of 2025. They are doing it in partnership with KRSD Road Safety Foundation to strengthen post-crash care for road crash victims, in line with the 5th pillar of the UN Decade of Africa for Road Safety in Africa. And the theme for this year is going to be taking responsibility for your safety, because they want people to take responsibility for their safety in terms of alcohol abuse or driving under the influence or seatbelt violations, and other road rage and other road-related offenses. So that's a good one. Kudos to you guys.
Let's commend the Federal Road Safety Corps again, because I found out 4 of their unit heads in Lagos, I've not checked the others, are headed by women. Women officers. You see them.
They're doing well.
Yeah, they're doing very well.
Do you have a story?
So I have the NLC story. NLC had a meeting yesterday with leaders of all the tertiary institutions, including ASU, SANU, colleges of education, academic staff union, COESU, and the academic staff union of polytechnics as well. So they said they will be giving an ultimatum of 4 weeks to the federal government to reach a reconciliation with ASU. Failure to do that, they will then go on a solidarity nationwide strike, to show solidarity with ASU, because they agree with all of the demands that ASU has with the federal government. They said that they are tired of federal government sending delegates to meetings to negotiate with them, or representatives to negotiate with labor unions without a mandate, such that they will reach a resolution, the delegates or the representative goes back to government and then reneges, because he does not have the mandate to agree to the things he has agreed. So they have told the government
to carry out the things he has agreed.
Yeah, they did not send him to what to come and agree. That's the point. When you now carry agreement back to his principal, the principal will be asking him, why did you say A? Why did you say B? And then they renege. That has been the trajectory that has followed the past experiences with them. And so they're asking government to do better, send representatives with a clear mandate who come to the meeting and say this is what government is able to do, and then reach that agreement so you can meet it and then go back. ASU can go back. They said on the no work no pay, they too they're declaring a no pay no work to government back, and that most of these strikes in the country are triggered by government's failure to honor agreements, and we can see that since 2020 Gbogboro they have been at it. So
okay, let's move on now to Vanguard. This is likely going to be our last paper for today. Major headline: Abuja grounded as security men tear gas protesters. Nigeria's net domestic credit drops by 12.8% to 98.97 trillion. Don't use coup plot to silence opposition, ADC warns federal government. While shielding no ally, EFCC recovers 500 billion in 2 years. That's according to the president. Imami faults usage of Warri Kingdom by non-Ishekiri monarchs. NLC gives federal government 4 weeks to resolve education sector crisis. Unite to defeat the evil APC has become, Olawekbo Hashim tells Nigerians. Okoye remains Udinet's numero uno goalkeeper coach. What do we have in Vanguard?
Should I take my area?
Okay, go ahead, please.
So he was, having a celebration of his 8th anniversary as he of the installation of his title Ologbosere of Warri Kingdom, where he now talked about, Warri being a kingdom shared by different tribes, the Ijaws, the Urhobos, and under this federal constituency called Warri Kingdom, the Shekiri's place is known. He lauded, the Shekiri people, talked about how their past and history with the Benin Kingdom, and then he says that so those monarchs going around claiming Warri should be clear and specific. Warri Kingdom, to their titles, are equating themselves to Isheki, is equating themselves to Ishekiris, and it should not be. And then he says, it talks about the past. It says historical records show that there was a period when the Ijaws and the Urhobos under this kingdom demanded a separation from the Ishekiris, and so the separation, maybe that's what he's trying to highlight. But it was an event marking his anniversary, and it was a low-key one because of the passing of his uncle. Okay. And it was just basically that's it, sir. Okay. Congratulations to him.
Yeah. We have one story here that looks interesting. Relief as price of cooking gas drops to 1,200.
Yes,
it's you again. That
I took that story. I took that story because it's paining me because I bought mine last week. Anyway, so cooking gas they said the price has been slashed to 1,200 from 2,200 last week. And really the story is that they have now received supply. Where there was a scarcity last week, now they have supplied. But of course, they'll talk to different retailers, and there's a particular one that says, well, I don't know for you people, when I bought my own, it was that price.
And I've
not sold it finished. When I sell it finished, then I can start with the new price.
Blame them.
So
don't blame them. It's business.
Yeah, it's business. So it depends on
who is buying.
Who's buying. So you determine if you go to him or you go to
somebody else. And sometimes they have to make losses if they really want to sell, because people will rush to the place that they are selling for cheap. Thank you so much, ladies. That's all we can take on the newspaper reviews. When we come back, we'll move on to the topics for today. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.